You're never going to guess what I'm going to build today. If you guys are anything like me, and you live in Southern California, you've been going on Surfline, checking the surf, seeing what the forecast has, and been left with a lot of disappointment, especially with crappy numbers like this. So, I felt the next best thing would be to bring you guys some other kind of videos. I know what you like watching. But today's going to be a little different. So today we're going to be building stuff. But first, it's story time. I bought this piece of crap for 20 bucks. And I have a reason for it. I'll get to it. So last week, I went body surfing in Seaside. And I ran into a guy who had a bunch of Paipo boards in the bed of his truck. I said, wow, those are really cool. He's like, hey, I have an extra. You want to borrow it? And I said yes. I had a really good time on these things. It was the first time I've ever been on a Paipo board. And I actually really had a good time. I went online to see if I could buy one, and they're kind of expensive for me right now, so I opted to see if I could make one, because it's a pretty simple design, they're pretty flat, I got some free time, might as well give it a shot. Long story short, I went to a couple of lumber yards to see if I could find some lumber, and it was kind of expensive, and I need some tools to get them to fit right. I need a joiner and a planer, and I just don't have that equipment. That leads me back to this piece of crap. I bought this on Craigslist for 20 bucks. This isn't exactly a rare skim board, but what it is the material that I need. So this is plywood. It is a pretty cheap material. These things were mass produced in China, as you can see from here. Paipo boards tend to be flat. This has a little bit of a rocker on it, but that's okay. I'm not really too worried about that. And with Paipo boards, they tend to be pretty rigid. This is, again, made out of cheap plywood, and there is some flex to it. I'm not really too worried about that. But what I'm gonna do today is turn this thing into a Paipo board. I found some shapes that I really like, and basically I'm just gonna trim off the crap that I don't want. I'm gonna sand all of this down. I'm gonna make it look nice, and if it totally sucks, I'm out 20 bucks. Not a big deal. And on top of that, I get to waste your time with another video. So as you can see here, I spent way too much time trying to make a template. I have no idea what I'm doing, but common sense led me to believe that I needed a template. So here he goes, the final product. This is basically the shape that I'm going to be cutting out of this board. You can see that there's quite a bit of material that needs to come off. I've never made a surfboard before or anything like that, so my thought was that I should make a half so I can make it pretty symmetrical, so that side's going to match that side. So before we start getting cutting, we need to find a center of this thing. So for all you board shapers out there, get ready to start taking some notes. Because the center is right about here. Ta-da! Look at that. Right in the middle. Well, that was easy. All right, now I need to cut out the shape with our template. Okay, now we got our lines all drawn out. Now I can get to cutting. And just like that, we've got our rough shape for our new Paipo board. Just gonna have to sand it down here a little bit, get this paint off here, put a new finish on it, and we'll have a Paipo board. And I know what you're thinking. Steve, you barely cut anything off of this thing. How is this still not a skim board? And that's a great question, and I'm glad you asked it. Okay, so that was 2 hours of sanding that I spared you guys on. Yeah, pretty much like I was saying before. I just kind of nailed these rails a little bit better. Got the symmetrical. There you go. And then I kind of just brushed up on the bottom of it. So I think it might be ready for a lacquer coat. You know, I was doing some research on these Paipo boards, and the early Hawaiians used to seal these things with a real secret recipe. And I think, and there you have it. A nice coat of varnish, a little bit of wax. Now let's go surf this thing.
The world's finest surfers showed up today to do battle with what's turned out to be the biggest waves to hit this coast since 1946.
Well, I'll tell you, Stu, I did battle some humongous waves. But, you know, just like I told the guy on ABC, danger is my business.
And to much surprise, this little Paipo board did pretty good out there. The surf was pretty big, and you couldn't really tell from the video, but I actually caught a barrel. It kind of rides like a boogie board, but I felt like it was a lot faster, mainly because it's narrow and I don't know, it's probably just in my head. It was a lot of fun. Definitely not a performance board by any means. I would like to eventually make one out of a thicker, more dense material, something that doesn't have any flex to it. But the flex was kind of fun out there. But leave a comment down below. Maybe that'll inspire me to make something else during this pumping surf season we've been having here in Southern California. But thanks again for watching. Make sure to like the video, and I'll see you in the next one.